Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat, and it's just too late for these. We're getting to the back end of November, and I never ever got to the Dawn Redwoods, which is a shame because I was going to demonstrate to you the sort of work you can do in the autumn time. But equally, you can do the same stuff in the spring. So all that's going to happen is the Dawn Redwood stuff is going to happen in the spring. The absolute brilliant thing about this time of the year is that you can see definitely which branches are going to be there for next year. You've got two here, which has got a couple of buds either side. Here, you haven't got the buds till the end, which is a bit of a shame. It may well be that these lower buds down here you'll keep, but there's one on the inside here. I can get rid of that now. Equally, I could just as easily leave it till the springtime and get it off then. I can if I wanted, if I was unhappy with the position, I could apply wire this time of the year. I quite like where these are. Now, an example of the sort of thing we were trying to avoid with if you prune too late and you're reliant on new growth as being your secondary branch, like here, this is where you find that actually it was pruned far too late, which it was, I remember now, and it just drops off. Which means, if you can see there, we've got new buds here. So it's not a loss, it just means you start again the following year. And there's actually 1, 2, 3 buds there. And looking at that, I've got a big stronger bud there which is going to be pointed down here. Actually, I probably want this one up here. So what I will do is just take that one off, and I'll take that one off. The one thing I do need to do is certainly on this one, if you look here, there is so much green algae building, and I am literally just going to be going around and get that all off. All it does is cause damp to build up, and that's the last thing we want doing. So we get rid of all the loose flaky bark, and this is an ideal way of also making sure we haven't got any overwintering insects in there. Food balls, they're just a waste having them in there. I will dry those out and reapply them next year. I'm actually quite happy. This one, as you'll see, there's been a video that's been produced this one a number of times, one of my earliest Dawn Redwood videos, and that showed a complete wire of this one. And to be fair, the wiring was sufficiently good enough that the branches are already in places that I like. I've got this great big long selection, but we have got new buds there. I may want those ones here, but I don't want this one. There's one on the inside, get rid of that. There's one here, it's going backwards, get rid of that. Although these are longer, I'm going to let them go because I want that to continue to grow out. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm going to cut all the way back there, I'm going to cut all the way back to there. Here we've got this one going upwards and a dead one there. The only way that would work is I might just put a little bit of wire that way. So I've just applied some wire there, and I want to try and manipulate that. So now we've got these running at least partially. I can do the same here. Now what will happen, I've got a little bud there that will hopefully send shoots out this way. The minimum that will happen is that where there's normally buds that come out of these junctions, they'll be orientated horizontally. Certainly a lot more suited to what I'm looking at. Just doing all 3 there, you can see I've managed to spread them out. So next year's growth will give me exactly the sort of thing that I'm looking for increasing the ramification in the direction I want. Okay, well, I've shown you a few of the key things I can do now. Get the green algae off this. Just have a look at obvious buds that are pointing backwards. I can remove those. Where I have got some branches that are clearly pointing upwards, I've done here, I've wired them, brought them down. So there's a little bit of wire, but very minimum. It would be easy for me to get caught up and just try and wire the whole thing. Already I was starting to think that way. Stop. Think where you are in the year. We've got frost and everything coming. Have I got the cold frame or the cold storage to protect it if I do major wiring or cutting? The answer's no. A little bit of wiring like that isn't going to cause any issues whatsoever. Okay, so we've got the other one away, and I've got that safely put underneath one of the benches.
where I can watch it, but it should be fine and stay free of too much water. Got a few more of these to do. This is the next of the ones, and this one actually started off as a very interesting cheap import, and I do believe it's still a pretty interesting cheap import. But it's an ideal one for demonstrating something that I do like seeing happening on the Dawn Redwood. It doesn't happen regularly, but when it does, you should smile like this. I'll show you now what I mean. Now, 80% of the time, well, I've been dealing with Dawn Redwood, and they grow out these big long shoots, and you're hopeful for anything further up. Occasionally you might get one that's here, one that might be up here, but never anything good. You normally end up with the two down the bottom. However, just occasionally, when we're really lucky and we've been nice to people, we get a branch that does this. If you have a look at it, it's just budtastic all the way down, hundreds and hundreds of buds. Probably not hundreds, but so many, and all of these I could select to cut to and they would all prune, so I can actually go all the way back up here. I've got 1, 2, 3, but I'm going to go play a bit safe and take it to there. Now, if I did this in spring, that one I'd plant straight away and you'd have good cutting. Another good reason for pruning in spring. Now, we can also get the same luck on quite a big, heavy main branch, which just comes straight off the trunk, and I've got absolutely loads and loads and loads and loads of buds on here. I can actually remove all of this and go for some of these ones here. That's not the sort of cut I would do now. At the moment I'm only playing around with little bits at the end. But definitely something like that I would leave until the April, when I know that we're not going to get any more frost or anything that may damage any of the growth of this. I mean, looking at this, it's a great old mess, and we've got these two parallel branches which I still haven't resolved, and again, something like that I'll be looking at definitely next year. But for now, let's just try and clear this one back, get the algae off the trunk. Okay, well, I've had a little bit of fun wiring this. I actually like the haphazard way this is growing, and you know, it's interesting to see how all this growth comes out. As I said, can't do magic pruning. I've wired a couple of these out, back ones here, just to give that sort of downward sloping and see what happens. So we'll just give it a spin. Extremely extended growth here, but there's so many buds all the way along, and I've done my bends in places where new buds can come out, so that could eventually be shortened right up here. So very interesting, and still no clear idea. What I don't want to do, you know, there'd be an obvious idea of either run it up here, which means getting rid of a lot of this, or actually getting rid of this one and looking what's behind it. Now this one, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I had so many different points to pick as future budding places. Left a few up long, but overall this one is going to be nearly as good as my big one. Got a lovely curved shape on it, and again, what I love about Dawn Redwood is they don't have to be traditionally straight up like they should grow. We can muck about with them a bit. Well, actually this is a great time to see the profile of your Dawn Redwoods, because most of the time they're so covered in all those green fronds that you really can't see what you've got in there. But you know, down here it is just so incredibly red, very damp. I think this is probably due for a repot next year. I'll have to check my workflow database and see what it tells me, but that could go into a nice free draining non-organic soil, I think. So all I'm going to do is just quickly show you how this year's forest plantation has turned out, which obviously, as you know, looking up in the link there, earlier this year I put together a fun little forest, or group planting. Yeah, we've got lots of odd shapes all over the place, and it's still very young. I know we're going to get that more back budding over the next couple of years, but what do we have to do? First year, survived its planting. So we'll have a look and see what it's going to be like in year 2. But not a lot to look at. Well, the rock's nice. I like the rock. Quick spin. But this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
You know, when you're building your bonsais or building your forests, you've got to start somewhere. Anyway, I'm literally going to just show you one of my forest larches. I won't show you any prune or anything, because right at this time of the year it's exactly the same thing that I'll be doing with Dawn Redwood. Clean up the needles, clean up any green, mould, algae, get rid of any unused fertiliser pellets for next year, and perhaps just remove a couple of things, but I'll show you that in a minute.
And that's my safe space for the Dawn Redwoods, under the display benches. It should be alright down there.
This last one is a little larch forest. I say forest, got 3 trees which I put together, only because my little plastic brown bear needed somewhere to hide. Can't reach the honey pots.
I am down to this last lonely honey pot.
But this was part of that batch of 20 larch saplings that I got way back in 2002 when I started this hobby. And you know I've got quite a few larches that remain from that period, which I'm fairly lucky actually, because my skills didn't get that good that quickly. In fact, they still haven't. But anyway, what do I do with this now? The ground, it's a little bit soft, but basically we had -3 last night, we had -2 the night before, and any work that I might have thought about doing seriously isn't going to happen. So apart from enjoying what is a really, really interesting craggly bark, the bark on this is absolutely incredible. Yeah, so I love this. I love this composition. As I say, it's best part of 22, 23 years old. I'm only going to do a few things with it. I'm going to take off the rest of the needles. I'm going to sweep brush down the soil surface. Moss build up around the trunk here, so I want to clear that out, just make sure we haven't got anything wintering down there. A lot of this bark, quite craggly, and much that I love it on there like this, what I do want to make sure we haven't got any overwintering insects' eggs. So I'll give these a bit of a spray down as well with my dormant spray. I'll probably also remove all the cones as well now. I don't know if you're aware, last year, in fact I'm not sure I've even shown it yet, I did a seeds video, and it's a bit of a progression one, so spoilers. But I think I took about 8 or 9 seeds from this larch, from the cones, and I planted them, and I've got 2 babies. But anyway, more of that in another episode. It's quite relaxing cutting these off. I will answer one question which I talk about a lot, and it's about, do I wire larch? And I think I'm one of the smaller minority who don't wire their larch in the winter this time. And I know there's lots of talk about, you know, they're less winter hardy with wire on. But the actual reason I don't wire them is because I find larch can be a bit temperamental in terms of which of these buds are actually going to green up and be viable next year. And I've so often fully wired a larch out, positioned all these, and in the hope that all these lovely buds are going to send out lots of new shoots and growth, and then come March I have a look and all this lovely fancy wiring is for naught, because the buds that I've based it on, for whatever reason, don't push. Right, well, we're all cleared up, and Mr. Brown Bear is full of honey, so to speak. We've still got some more hanging stuff on here, but what I have done is cleared it all away. I've avoided the temptation to start clipping back. Could I do it? Yes. If I did it, what would I do? I'd put it in the cold frame. This tree is now set up firmly for winter. So, cleared away the surface, and what that has given me the chance to do is to establish just how root bound this is. I think it got repotted 3 years ago. Larch are extremely vigorous, so this will definitely need to be repotted. And I'm going to have to think about this, because it may well be, definitely want to get it out of this mica pot, but it may well be I might add some more trees to it. I'm going to be doing quite a lot of rebuilding on this. There's quite a lot of dead areas on it, but that's going to be fun for next year. Should we have a look at this incredible root system though? It's incredible though. It's also a testament that you don't need any bonsai skills, you don't need any special tools, and you didn't even need any special soil, because when I started this, I put 3 saplings into a plant pot. I let them grow for 5 years. I didn't really prune with any decisions or anything. I just let them get thick and gnarly. They then got put in a pot, and over a slow amount of time, and as I think Yella said in one of his most recent videos, you can grow stuff in pots, it just takes longer. So 15 years later we've got this incredible root base. And as for the soil that I used on this, I mean, most of the time probably 70% organic, common nursery plant stuff, you know, John Innes #2 or whatever potting mix you are. That's what these lived in. Only in the last I think the last repot, probably 3 years ago, it went into a fairly heavy Akadama mix. But, you know, I love it, and this didn't need any skill, it just needed time. So if you ever feel a bit jaded or a bit confused or a bit, I'm never going to do it, remember, if you love this as a hobby, then just take your time, and you'll be amazed at the results you can produce. That's my Dawn Redwoods and my larches done. That's really it for all the outdoor trees for 2023. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, you know what to ask. Big thumbs up. Share it for anyone who might want to know about it. And hit like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. I'm now going to go inside and have peanut butter on toast because I'm a bit hungry. And looking forward to another week of -4, -5. So all the best, happy bonsai, and God bless. Cheers. Do you know that light is just striking me right there on the cheek?